Hello friends, my name is RD and welcome back to my channel, Dhode Vision English. I hope you all are doing great. Today I'm going to explain a beautiful Turkish movie called Season of Love, which was released in 2024. The film stars Cem Yiğit Üzümoğlu as the male lead Ali Yaman and the stunning Dilan Çiçek Deniz as the female lead Shirin. It has received a 5 out of 10 rating on IMDb. But trust me, the story is much more emotional than the numbers suggest. This story gently reminds us that love is more than just a feeling. It's a journey filled with endless chances to come together and the courage to choose our own path. In the end, it's our choices that shape the kind of love story we live and the memories we carry in our hearts forever. So without any further delay, let's dive deep into this beautiful movie. The story begins with Shireen on her way to visit her friend, the painter Altan. But at that moment, we see him with a model, painting her, and it's clear there is some kind of relationship between them. When Shireen returns home and sees them together, she is shocked, unable to believe she's been deceived. Despite his betrayal, what hurts her more is not the cheating itself, but the regret over the time she wasted with him. The story then flashes back to 2016 to explain Shireen's past. We see her on Busajada Island, where she grew up and spent her childhood. Drawing was the one thing that allowed her to forget everything else as she sketched the island's beautiful nature. There we meet her childhood friend, Ali. When he learns she has returned to the island and spots her on the shore, he runs toward her and jumps into the sea in excitement, shouting her name joyfully. It's obvious that he loves her, and Shireen is charmed by his wild and spontaneous actions. We also learn that Ali had asked her to meet him on the dock to talk. When she asks him what's so important, he admits that at this moment he feels excited, like a student waiting for exam results. We also find out that Shireen and her family always spend their summer vacations on the island every year, and Ali always waited eagerly for these vacations just to see her and spend time with her. During one summer, Ali finally confessed his feelings to her, telling her he constantly dreamed about her and couldn't get her out of his mind. He admitted he loved her deeply, almost to the point of madness. Surprising her, he gave her a handmade ring crafted from tree branches and revealed he had thought about confessing for a long time. He even said if he hadn't told her, he might have ended up in a mental hospital from the weight of his feelings. Ali wished that she loved him too, at least even half as much as he loved her. But Shireen told him that what he felt was simply a summer love. Ali disagreed, saying love has no seasons. He loved her all year long. Shireen, feeling overwhelmed, walked away. Ali chased after her, asking if she felt anything for him. She didn't respond, which upset him, as he felt she didn't value or even acknowledge his feelings. She admitted that she was thinking logically. They were still too young for love, about to enter university, with a long road ahead. Her only focus right now was her dream, to become a famous painter and one day hold her own art exhibition. She knew this could only happen if she traveled abroad to study further. That's why she was prioritizing her dream. She believed everything in life changes, even people. She confessed she hoped for a love that was true and deep, not just a fleeting summer attachment. For her, it was still too early to confess love to anyone. Shireen advised Ali to also think with his head, not just his heart, and to focus on finding and chasing his own dream. But Ali replied that she was his only dream, and he didn't know how else to convince her of his feelings. He simply couldn't hide them anymore. Shireen told him that life is long, and maybe one day in the future their feelings would align, and they'd know for sure if they were truly meant for each other. From her words, Ali understood that her priority was her future, and love wasn't the foundation of her life. Hurt, he left and jumped into the sea in frustration, while she looked on, thinking his anger and sadness were childish. Months and years passed. They both became busy with their studies. Shireen continued her art education, supported by her mother despite her father's disapproval of pursuing art. Ali, meanwhile, often spent his time alone, still thinking of her, unlike Shireen, who filled her free time with friends. After Ali graduated from university, his father forced him to work at an insurance company against his will. Meanwhile, Shireen's passion for art grew stronger and her ambitions bigger. She wanted to learn everything about painting. This desire eventually drew her closer to Altan, the painter, because he was the person who could help her reach her dream. On the other hand, Ali tried to move on with his life without Shireen. He even entered a relationship with a friend, hoping to forget her. On his wedding day, Ali was hesitant and unsure if what he was doing was right or wrong. He couldn't forget his love for Shireen or let go of their past together. Memories of their summer days filled his mind. Suddenly, he left his bride, ran out of the wedding car, and fled to a boat. He asked the captain to take him from the island to Istanbul. He was excited, happy, and determined to see Shireen. When he arrived and appeared before her, Shireen was shocked. She asked how he had found her address. In a flashback, it's revealed that Ali had been secretly watching her for a while to learn where she lived. She noticed he was still wearing wedding clothes and questioned him. He admitted that today was supposed to be his wedding, but he couldn't go through with it. He left his bride because he couldn't forget Shireen and couldn't get her out of his mind. Shireen was stunned by the level of his obsession and madness. When Ali asked to use her bathroom, she stopped him. Just then, someone called her "my love," and Ali turned to see Altan hugging her. Shireen introduced Ali as her childhood friend from the island. Ali, confused, didn't understand her relationship with Altan. When they went inside, Ali discovered Altan was a painter and realized that this was why Shireen was close to him, because he represented her dream. Ali asked to talk to Shireen alone. They stepped outside and started arguing. Shireen accused him of being irresponsible and inconsiderate of others' feelings, saying he destroyed a girl's life by abandoning her at the wedding. Ali argued that everything happened because of Shireen. She reminded him that they hadn't seen each other for years and had no connection anymore. Ali brought up her old words, reminding her that she once told him maybe, someday, they would end up together, and he had lived on that hope ever since. Shireen, however, told him she had no time to waste on him. Ali explained that he couldn't help but love her and couldn't forget the promise she once made. She warned him not to manipulate her feelings or make her feel guilty. Shireen revealed she was already in a relationship, and he had seen it with his own eyes. She advised him to return to his bride, apologize to her, and not hurt someone who truly loved him. Then she left. Ali was stunned by her advice, especially since she was the one who had broken his heart. Still, he bought flowers and went to his bride to make amends. But her father threw him out. When his bride came down, she called him a coward who didn't understand love or honor. Ali had no excuse to give her. Her father beat him up, and Ali later called Shireen, lying to her that he was in critical condition and wanted to see her one last time. Shireen went to the hospital, where he told her about what her father had done. She replied that he deserved it for his recklessness. As she was walking him out, Ali asked about her feelings toward him. He asked if she had ever loved him and why she treated him with such harshness and coldness. Shireen responded that she never told him she didn't love him. Ali replied, "But I never even heard you say that you do love me either." Shireen explained to Ali that they hadn't seen each other for years, and suddenly he appeared in her life trying to get close again. She told him she didn't like sudden events or childish behavior. They had grown up now. She wished him happiness in his life and said maybe years from now, their paths might cross again, and she hoped by then he would be a mature man. Before leaving, Ali asked her for one last hug to say goodbye. The story then flashes back to their last summer vacation on the island, right before Shireen left with her family. She had been waiting for Ali to come say goodbye, but he never showed up. When she asked his brother Salim about him, Salim said that Ali preferred death over saying goodbye to her. Shireen sent a message through him saying Ali needed to learn how to say farewell to loved ones and friends. It was clear she was deeply affected that she didn't get to see him one last time before leaving. During the journey, she kept thinking about their memories together and cried over the separation. Deep inside, she realized she truly loved him, but she was torn between him and her future. Meanwhile, Ali was at the shore, regretting not going to say goodbye. He ran like crazy to catch her, but by the time he reached the port, Shireen's boat had already departed with her family. Her parents could sense her pain and heartbreak. Years later, we see Ali at work with his colleague Dhode, still working in the insurance company. They went out together for a lunch break. At the restaurant, the girl walking ahead of him dropped her bag. When Ali bent down to help her, he was stunned to see it was Shireen. Fate kept bringing them together, no matter how many years passed. Shireen accused him of following her around. Ali, on the other hand, was shocked to learn she was still with Altan. She then asked about the girl he was with, clearly jealous of her. Sarcastically, she said that, as usual, Ali would leave this girl halfway, and she would become yet another victim of his ways. Ali ignored her harsh words, captivated instead by how beautiful she still looked after all those years. Shireen asked about his changed appearance, and he told her he now worked at an insurance company. At that moment, Bad crouched under the table and asked Shireen if she was the Shireen. Shireen was surprised she knew her. Bade explained that Ali always talked about her and described her in great detail. Soon, Altan joined them, noticing Shireen's distraction. He warmly greeted Ali and invited him to sit with them, instead of talking under the table. He intentionally asked about Ali's relationship with Bade. Ali and Bade explained that they were just colleagues who became friends, and even their families knew each other. But suddenly, Ali clarified, almost defensively, that they were not lovers, only friends. He was afraid Shireen might misunderstand his closeness with Bade. Shireen secretly felt happy hearing this, while Bade looked embarrassed. Bade then began telling Shireen how much Ali admired her and was fascinated by their old memories. Shireen calmly replied that memories eventually fade with time and simply become part of the past. Before leaving, Bade mentioned how much Shireen's mindset resembled Ali's, then gave them an invitation to her first art exhibition. She congratulated Shireen and left when she got a call from their boss. Ali took advantage of being alone with Shireen and recited lines of poetry, saying that when she appeared in his life, he ignored everything around him, and when he looked at her, she became his whole world. It was clear from her reaction that Shireen was happy with his words. She left with Altan. We then flash back to Ali's memory, realizing that those verses were from a poetry book they shared years ago. Back then, Shireen had noticed his passion for her through the poems, but he never dared to confess directly. Instead, he expressed his feelings through those lines. She was delighted and even asked him to read more to her. He, in turn, asked her one day to draw his portrait. Returning to the present, Ali goes home angry and restless after seeing Shireen. Meanwhile, Shireen herself is trying to paint a new piece, distracted by Ali's words. We see that she's actually been sketching his face, and she spends the whole night lost in thoughts about him, inspired to paint something new. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Excited, she hopes it's Ali. She greets the visitor happily, and indeed, it's Ali standing there. He tells her he's feeling sad and had no one else to turn to but her. Shireen returns to work on her painting, only to be surprised by Altan hugging her from behind. She pushes him away, saying she needs to be alone and doesn't want her thoughts interrupted. Altan notices her change in behavior since Ali reappeared in their lives, but Shireen denies it, unable to admit even to herself the truth about her feelings for Ali. While distracted, she cuts her foot on glass, the wound triggering memories of her time with Ali on the island. We flash back again to those days by the sea, where Shireen and Ali spent carefree time together. Shireen teased him, saying she had seen him in the forest with their neighbor Belen. We learn that Belen had confessed her feelings to Ali, trying to get closer to him, but he rejected her. She even asked if he loved Shireen, but Ali refused to answer. Ali was surprised that Shireen had seen him with Belen and asked if she was spying on him. Shireen replied she was just curious and wanted to know her best friend's crush. When he refused to explain, she provocatively told him she would also keep secrets from him if he asked. Ali then admitted that Belen had confessed her love and mistakenly thought he and Shireen were lovers because they were always together. Shireen asked how he responded to Belen. Ali told her he made it clear they were just friends. Nothing more. He then asked Shireen if she agreed with him. She couldn't answer and insisted on knowing whether he liked Belen or not. Just as he was about to respond, Shireen got hurt. Ali failed to treat Shireen's foot wound. We return to the present where we see Ali at Bad's house. It turns out that when Ali was feeling sad, he went to visit Bad, confiding everything about his feelings. His love for Shireen, his only dream of being with her one day, and how he simply cannot get over her. Whenever he tries to forget, he remembers her eyes, her smile, her scent, or their memories together. Those thoughts always pull him back to her, and he can never forget the promise she once made, that someday they might end up together. That promise is the hope he still clings to, making his life revolve around it. Bade told him that when she saw Shireen, she realized Shireen also loves him. Ali was surprised and asked why, if Shireen loved him, she was still torturing him. Bade promised to help him win her heart and advised him to change, to mature in Shireen's eyes. A few days later came the opening of Shireen's art exhibition. Ali attended the event and was shocked when he saw the opening painting. It depicted the beach house where they used to meet years ago. He sensed that the two figures in the painting were meant to represent them. Meanwhile, Altan informed Shireen that they had sold their first painting, but she seemed more interested in greeting Ali. She approached Ali and Bade warmly. Ali praised the opening painting, calling it special, and Shireen explained that it held personal memories for her. She then introduced Ali to her family. For the first time, Ali complimented Shireen's beauty directly, and she returned the compliment, saying his new appearance made him look more handsome. Her parents were delighted to see him after so many years. Altan gathered everyone and introduced Shireen as the artist of the exhibition, explaining that she named it Memory because every painting was inspired by unforgettable moments. Her parents seemed to understand Shireen's feelings for Ali, and even Bade noticed from Shireen's expressions that she was referring to Ali. After the speech, Ali approached Altan and told him he and Shireen were close friends and that he wanted to share in her happiness for the exhibition. He expressed interest in buying the opening painting, but Altan told him it had already been sold. Ali asked who bought it, and upon finding out, he insisted on meeting the buyer. Bade tried to stop him, warning that it might cause trouble and embarrass Shireen. But Ali was determined. He told her that he and Shireen were the real subjects of that painting and that it represented the memory of the first poem he ever recited to her. Such a painting, he said, should never belong to anyone else. Ali approached the buyer, apologized, and offered to buy the painting at any price, but the buyer refused. Losing control, Ali insisted and got into an argument. When the buyer insulted him, Ali snapped and hit him. Security intervened and threw Ali out of the exhibition. Shireen was deeply embarrassed by the scene in front of all the guests. After Ali left, Shireen followed him and demanded to know why he behaved that way. Ali didn't care that it was supposed to be Shireen's happiest day. He had embarrassed her in front of all her guests. He apologized and said he only wanted the painting because he loved it. But Shireen pressed him, accusing him of not caring about her dreams, of destroying everything between them. She said he only thought about himself while she was focused on her future. She told him that nothing would ever change. Ali snapped. He said he was the only one in this relationship who kept sacrificing, who kept trying to change so she would notice him. He insisted he'd given up his childish behavior, moved out of his family home, rented his own place to learn responsibility, all because of his love for her. Altan and Bade overheard everything. Shireen advised Ali not to change for her, but to change for himself. Ali replied that she knew very well she was attracted to him, so how could he possibly forget her? Shireen told him she had never confessed such feelings and wasn't even sure if she truly liked him. She admitted that while he loved her in his own way, it wasn't the way she wanted. They didn't even know each other well. Everything he felt was based on memories from 8 years ago. Ali said that yes, many years had passed, and she had achieved so much in that time. Surely, now was the moment she could listen to her heart. But Shireen told him she wasn't the right woman for him. Not to marry, not to start a family with. She begged him to forget her face, her voice, her memories, and everything about her. Ali asked why, if she didn't love him, she had painted that opening piece, the painting of them together, and displayed it at her exhibition. He promised her, if she answered this question truthfully, he would walk away forever, and she would never have to remember a man named Ali again. Before she could respond, Altan interrupted. He couldn't bear it anymore and started fighting with Ali. Shireen broke them up and left with Altan. Bade tried to comfort Ali afterward. Months later, we see Ali and Bade together, now lovers, even engaged. They started their own insurance company and were building a life together. The story circles back to the opening scene of the film, Shireen walking into Altan's home, finding him cheating on her with a model. She couldn't handle the betrayal and ended their relationship, packing her belongings and leaving. She was devastated, feeling lost and regretful about all the choices she had made. Choices that ultimately led her to loneliness. Trying to process her pain, Shireen attempted to paint, but nothing came. Frustrated, she lost control and decided to return to her family on the island. Back home, her parents comforted her, reminding her that family is the most important thing in life. They gently told her that her biggest mistake was isolating herself from them and not allowing them to share in her decisions. Shireen blamed her parents, reminding them that they were the ones who once encouraged her to chase her dreams and ignore her heart. But as soon as she realized how harsh she had been, she apologized and confided in them about Ali, about their last meeting and how he had promised to stay out of her life forever. She asked her parents if they thought she should try to fix what was broken between them. Their answer crushed her. They told her Ali was now engaged to Bade, and the two were preparing for marriage. That's when Shireen finally understood she had truly lost him. She broke down in tears, spending the entire night thinking about him, shocked that he now belonged to someone else. The next day, she went to see Salim, Ali's brother, asking about their family. Salim quickly realized why she had come. She wanted to check on Ali. He told her how deeply Ali had been hurt because of her, how much he had changed, distanced himself from the island, and rarely visited anymore. When Salim asked if she had ever loved his brother, Shireen admitted she had spent years chasing her dreams, neglecting her personal life, believing success was everything. Yet somehow, Ali had never left her thoughts. Salim told her sadly that her feelings had come too late. Ali was already engaged. He comforted her, advising her to let go, that one day Ali would be a sweet memory from her past. But despite Salim's words, Shireen couldn't help herself. She went to Ali's company to see him. Ali and Dhode were both stunned when she showed up. She pretended she was there to ensure her art pieces. Bade politely welcomed her, though it was clear she was uneasy about Shireen's presence. Bade soon excused herself to go to the bank, but we see her downstairs, nearly losing her mind over Shireen's unexpected appearance. Meanwhile, Ali questioned Shireen about why she had come. She realized he was trying to protect Bade's feelings, but Ali assured her that Bade wasn't easily affected by such things. Shireen then admitted she had heard about his engagement to Bade. Ali, unfazed, said news like that shouldn't matter to her. After all, she was someone who let reason control her, not emotions. He reminded her that she had once said the same thing to him years ago, back when he didn't understand her. When Ali asked about her relationship with Altan, Shireen revealed they had broken up. Ali, unsurprised, said he had always known Altan would deceive her. He could sense it the moment he met him, unlike Shireen, who had been blinded by love. Shireen confessed she just wanted to talk to him as a friend, like in the old days. Ali agreed, but insisted he had to tell Bade first. It was only fair. Bade tried to hide her discomfort, telling Ali she trusted him and allowed them to go. Ali and Shireen then went to a cafe. Shireen opened up, admitting she needed to change her life. Ali advised her that if she truly wanted to change, she had to let go of her past completely, even meeting new people. Curious, Shireen asked if that was what he had done for himself. Ali answered that Bade had been his key to success, which made Shireen realize what he meant. Bade had saved him from his pain for her. When she asked if that was why he got engaged to Bade, Ali avoided answering. Instead, he gave her a choice. Either they continue talking as friends, or he would walk away from her life completely. After a brief silence, he spoke about Bade, how much she loved and trusted him. Shireen forced a smile, congratulated him on his new life, and wished him happiness, even as her heart broke inside. As they left the cafe, Ali offered to take her home. Along the way, she hesitated, asking if they could prolong the night, talk a little more, as if hoping time would slow down. Ali smiled gently, but kept his distance, walking her to her door. When he returned from the washroom, he found Shireen lost in thought, her eyes glistening. She apologized for all the hurt she had caused him over the years, admitting that she had realized her feelings far too late. Ali had always been the most important person in her life, and no matter what happened, his place in her heart would never change. Fighting tears, she asked him for one last embrace. Ali held her tightly, and Shireen broke down crying in his arms, mourning the love she had lost. At her doorstep, she invited him inside for coffee, a final attempt to stay close. But Ali refused, saying it was better he return home. Before leaving, he asked her a question. If she had to choose now, would she choose him as just a friend or as the love of her life? Through her tears, Shireen finally admitted he was the love of her life, her home. She went inside and collapsed, crying. Ali, overwhelmed, rushed to his brother Salim. He confessed everything, Shireen's sudden confession, his own confusion. Every time he tried to move on, she came back into his life and turned everything upside down. This time, she had finally admitted her love. But now he was engaged to Bade, the woman who had stood by him and helped him heal. How could he hurt her? The next day, Shireen tracked down the buyer of her painting, the one of their beach house. She begged him to sell it to her, offering any price. Meanwhile, Ali sat in his office, tormented by the impossible choice. Should he return to the love of his life, or stay loyal to the woman who had saved him? At last, Ali made a decision. He called one of them and invited her over to his home. He promised to cook dinner himself and get her favorite drinks. He was excited, smiling for the first time in days. Shireen, meanwhile, walked through the streets, clutching the painting, a faint hope in her heart that this time, maybe, love would finally find its way. But when she arrived at Ali's home, her world shattered. Inside, she saw Ali with Bade. It was Bade he had called, not her. Bade looked at Ali tenderly, telling him she would accept whatever decision he made, even if it meant losing him, because all she wanted was his happiness. Though her heart would break, she wouldn't stand in the way of his joy. Ali, moved by her words, promised he would never leave her. He told Bade he loved her. Shireen stood silently in the doorway, tears streaming down her face as she heard every word. She watched Ali kiss Bade, the final blow to her already broken heart. Without saying a word, she slipped away into the night, leaving behind the man she had loved all her life. 3 years later, life had moved on. Ali was now married to Bade, and they had a son. Their life seemed perfect, full of warmth and stability. Bade suggested they sell the island house, the place full of childhood memories for Ali, and start fresh in a new home together. Though hesitant, Ali agreed to at least discuss it with his family. Meanwhile, Shireen had left Istanbul and moved back to the island, living alone in the coastal house, clinging to the memories of Ali. She still kept the painting of them together, unable to let go. When Ali returned to the island to arrange the sale, fate brought them face to face again. Their first meeting was awkward. He barely greeted her, while she struggled to hide her emotions. Later, she surprised him by diving into the sea, just like she used to when they were young, shouting his name playfully. For a brief moment, time seemed to rewind. They spent hours talking. Shireen wore the wooden ring Ali once made for her, and she admired pictures of his son, remarking how much he looked like his father. As memories resurfaced, Shireen rested her head on Ali's shoulder, feeling safe, almost as if nothing had changed. Ali held her for a moment, torn between past and present, love and duty. But then reality struck. He was married now. He gently pulled away and left. Shireen finally accepted the truth. Their love had its seasons, but those seasons had passed. For Ali, the timing was never right. When she loved him, he was distant. When he was ready, she had walked away. Their paths had crossed too many times, always at the wrong moment. Ali chose his family. Shireen chose solitude and memory. Some loves don't fade. They simply transform into bittersweet recollections that live forever in the heart. And that's how the movie ends. Not with a grand reunion, but with a quiet acceptance. An understanding that not every love story is meant to last forever. Some love, just like seasons, come into our lives to warm us for a while and then quietly fade away. And that's exactly why the movie is called Season of Love. But before I end this video, I want to share something from my heart. If you ever find someone who feels like the only one, the love of your life, don't let them slip away. Fight for that love. Hold on to it with everything you have, because life rarely offers second chances. Regret is heavier than heartbreak. So now I want to hear from you, my YouTube family. What do you think about Ali's choice? Should he have gone back to Shireen or stayed loyal to Bade? I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for more heartfelt stories that celebrate love, longing, and the bittersweet beauty of second chances. If today's story touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Tap the bell icon so you never miss another journey of love and life. Got a film you want me to break down next? Drop its name and country in the comments. I love hearing your suggestions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another story that speaks to the soul.